Okay, hello and welcome back to SLR F1 Division 2, round 14, and it is the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza, the Temple of Speed, as it is so infamously known. The fastest average speed on the calendar will be recorded around this track. I am Ham, and I'm joined, as ever, by my brother Jam. We're back this week. We're on the comms again, so yeah, good evening to you.
Hello, mate, and hello to everyone watching as well. Should be a good race tonight. I'm expecting lots of overtaking. There's definitely high potential for that around a circuit of this nature, long straights, and someone's already been disqualified, mate.
Oh yeah, Division has been disqualified for going the wrong way. Loki's just coming out of the pits. Is anyone else coming out of the pits? See if I can catch that. No, I really don't know quite what's happened there. It is dry all the way, apparently. I don't know whether that's just quali or the race as well, but I'd imagine it's for both. And yeah, so it was a really good race last time out in Belgium. Crispy taking the win there, I do believe, which means that he's got himself right back in the championship fight now, only 30 points behind Beast Assassin, who's the leader of the championship on 148. Second is Clock on 133, and then yeah, Crispy is on 118. He's
Alright. Division had a qualifying ban, so that's why he's disqualified himself from the session. I was getting a bit worried from there. Wasn't sure what he was doing.
Yeah, I was like, why is he driving the wrong way? I guess that's quite a clever little way to disqualify yourself then as well, as long as it obviously doesn't impact anyone else. I believe Loki is about to start a lap, so I'll just
I'm on
get
board
over
with
to
him
him. Yeah, do you want to take us through it then, Jam?
Alright then, so he's going to be reaching speeds of about 220 miles per hour, coming down into the first chicane. He's going to spot the braking just before the 100-meter board. You can cut a bit of that inside curb if you're brave enough. He does that nicely. He wants to get in the power nice and early, heading down the first of these long straights in the middle, in the first sector. Wants to spot his braking point just past that little bridge. Can cut a bit of that inside chicane, but you want to be careful on the second part of it. Now into the first Lesmo. These are kind of more deceiving than you might think. If you get the power on too early, you will be heading straight into the wall, especially around the second Lesmo here, as he gets a bit shaky on the exit, heading down towards Ascari to complete the second sector of this circuit. Wants to brake again about the 100-meter board. Drops down to fourth. Will he short shift up to fifth, up to sixth? No, he revs it out. He's going to get a nice toe down the final straight. Hopefully he doesn't get blocked. Now coming into parabolica brake just after that little green Astro on your left. Now feed the car out through the final corner and flat out straight to the line. And our first time is a 21.2.
Yeah, so Loki setting down the marker, but it's been straight away there beaten by Darnell, and then Iceman Liam with a 20.4 for his first lap. So a few of these guys looking pretty pacey straight away.
Darnell was on the
anyone on a
as well.
lap at the moment? Have we got anyone? Who's that Ferrari in sector 3? Is that OMH? Yeah, it is. Okay, so we'll stick on board with OMH for the rest of his lap. Beast Assassin goes quickest with a 19.4, so championship leader there, not messing about, wasting no time getting his lap down, as OMH also completes his lap, but it's a whole second off Beast Assassin, so the Ferrari slot into second and third. They'll be hoping obviously for a good result here to appease the Tifosi. Who else? Have we got anyone else on a lap, Jan, that is
Callum McKinnon's just crossed the line.
interest at the moment?
Crispy's about to start one. I'll keep an eye on him for you because he was quick last time out in Belgium. Hopefully we can continue that form here.
Yeah, Drastic Blaze just moves himself up into 8th, and I'll get on board with Crispy then as he starts his lap. as you say, trying to take that form from Belgium last week into this week's race as Clock gets out of the way as Crispy breaks turn 1. Slowed it down pretty well there, and he's got some good traction on the way out. Maybe slightly distracted by Clock on the entry, but got to get out of the way somehow. Coming through sector 1, split 25.9. Seems like a pretty good time so far. Maybe slightly deep into the chicane, and he's definitely paid the price there because he's rubbed off a bit of time there on the exit. Not the smoothest of corners, but nevertheless still a pretty solid lap here from Crispy. Gets the traction down nicely out the second Lesmo. No wheel spinning or anything, so he'll be taking some pretty good speed down this straight. Coming into a Ascari, he's got a car not too far ahead of him. That could be slightly distracting. He does lift off slightly and then takes a bit of a wide line on exit. He's going to get the toe though now down the Rettifilio. He's getting on the grass, so Crispy's having to sort of go off the racing line here. He slows it down for Parabolica. Doesn't want to run it out too far wide, which he doesn't do. So a pretty nice line again from him there. He's crossing the line. It's going to be a 20.1. Puts himself into second, but it's still a whole 7/10 off that fastest lap that's been set by Beast Assassin.
Yeah, no one's touching him at the moment.
Definitely setting the early pace at the moment, as say that Iceman Liam's put himself up second in the Ferrari.
I should
anyone
think
else on a lap yet? Clock's just started a lap, so we'll stay on board with him, and I'll let you speak, Jam.
I was going to say, I should think a 19.4 will get him through comfortably. If I was him, I'd be back in the pits and probably retiring from the session, to be honest. I should imagine there'll be the sort of times we'll be looking at in Div 1 for the first qualifying session as well. So Beast is definitely on the pace.
Clock makes a big mistake there. He goes very deep into the chicane, middle sector chicane, and he gets on the gravel on exit, and he's backed out of that lap there. And yeah, as you say, I mean, tyres aren't really too big an issue. It's a pretty comfortable softs to mediums one stop here, but obviously if you want to have a good shot of pole, you want sort of as many fresh sets as possible, depending on the tyre strategy that the drivers have gone for here. You're looking at having about probably 4 sets of softs, so you don't really want to be wasting half your softs in Q1 here, as like you say, I don't think Beast will be too worried about getting knocked out with that lap time.
Trusted's just gone 5th. It was a pretty tidy lap from him. The one thing I'm really noticing is the difference between the pad and the wheel, especially for a Ascari. The level of commitment you have on the wheel is just so much more than on the controller. I was watching in Trusted, he was having to sort of pump the power on and pump the steering around the corner.
Yeah.
It didn't look very, very smooth, but not a bad lap from him by any means, up in P6 at the moment.
No. Yeah, and his teammate there, EOR Hamilton, whilst he was speaking there, Jam, he's gone second. He's done a 20 flat, but he's still the only driver to get into the 1 minute 19s at the moment is Beast Assassin, as Silly Bunny puts himself into second in the Haas with a 20-point flat as well. So seemingly drivers may be finding it a bit difficult here to break that 1 minute 20 barrier, as I said, Beast the only driver thus far to get into the 1 minute 19s, and he's done it by quite a considerable margin, 19.4. So he's got a good 5.5 temp gap to the nearest car. Have we got anyone towards the drop zone out on a lap?
I'm watching Top Gooner at the moment, mate. Yeah, he's the only driver out on track that hasn't set a lap yet. It's in the pits. It's looked clean. It's looked good so far, Harry.
Yeah, I'm just on board with him now for Ascari. Takes a pretty committed line through there. Gets a bit of the inside curb on the exit, and that threw the back end out of it, but he did well to hold it. Clock has improved. He's set a more competitive lap time, 20.4, moves up into P9. That puts the likes of J. Darnell, Callum Leach at risk. J. Darnell, being one of the drivers who set a lap on the mediums, as Gooner goes up into P2, the second driver to get into the 19s. It's a 19.954 for the Renault driver, so a pretty decent lap from him, and I'm sure you'll be happy with that, Jam, a fellow Renault driver up into P2.
Yeah, it looked like a nice lap, to be honest. It looked like he was pretty committed. I've just got Preds saying in the stream chat he wants Beast into Div 1. I should think, to be honest, if we see performances like this so far, I think we'll see him there in the somewhat near future. That 19.4, that's a pretty respectable time, no matter
Mm.
where you're driving, what division, what league, whatever. But in SLR, we like to credit ourselves on having a pretty competitive field, and I think especially in Div 1, he'd be up there with that sort of time in Q1 anyway. We'll have to keep an eye out for what he does later.
Yeah, I was watching Matt Veach there because he's one of the drivers at risk down in 18th place, but he's a good 4 tenths down on his lap. He made a bit of a mistake out of turn one, getting in the gravel, and he's done it again on the exit of the first Lesmo there. He's getting on the gravel, he's losing the back end. It's been quite an untidy lap at the moment, so I'm sure Matt Veach, well, knows that he's got some time in the locker somewhere, and he'll be looking to go around again. But like I said, he's 1.2 seconds down now, so he won't be getting near that 1 minute 21 that he's set so far. So he's one of the drivers at risk, as is iCallum, who's down in 17th. He's in the pits at the moment. Jadon Nell, he is out on a lap. He's on the softs this time, but he's down in 16th place, so we'll be looking for a big improvement on those soft compound tyres. He's 5 tenths up through the middle sector, takes a very nice line for Ascari. He's kept it in 6th, probably looking to just kind of keep that back end pretty sturdy there, as he didn't really lose the car too much. Up into 8th, down the Resfilia though, into Parabolica, slows it down pretty nicely there. Doesn't drop as many gears as maybe he could to get that extra bit of turning, but it doesn't seem to have really affected him too much as he goes across the line, 19.7. So the drivers here closing in a bit more on the lap time that Beast Assassin set pretty near the start of this session, as Jade Arnell in the Alfa Romeo moves himself up into P2 with a 19.7.
I was reliably informed earlier in the week that Beast and Darnell were looking quick, and they've delivered so far, top of the timesheet. Still, Beast has a pretty comfortable margin. As I predicted earlier, I'd be surprised, and I doubt we'll see Beast out again in the session, but I should think anyone really below maybe OMH on the 20.0, anyone below that will probably go out again. It's whether you want to take that gamble though in Q1.
Yeah, I was just on board with Bean there, being a fellow Haas driver. Got to show him a bit of love on the stream, but he's obviously not too pleased with the lap that he set, because he backed off from it, and he'll be probably looking to pit, get some fresh tyres on, go again. Like you say, in terms of cut-off, I'd like to think that if I was on a 20 flat, looking at sort of, there's a good sort of 7-8 tenths to the drivers towards the drop zone, you'd think you'd be safe. But yeah, perhaps OMH might go back out again. In fact, I think he might. Pardon me, he might be back out actually. Yeah, he is. I wonder if he's I think he was on a lap, so I think he may have backed off from it. But yeah, I think really Rango's going to be sort of the first driver that he's probably having some sort of doubt in his mind as to whether that lap's going to be good enough to get him through. Crispy's back out there, so he's obviously a little bit worried as well. And in fact, OMH is out of fuel, I believe. I think that's why he's going quite slowly. But yeah, I mean, as opposed to Belgium, where the field was pretty close the whole way through, I mean, there's a big gap here, 1.7 seconds between last and first here. So yeah, that's quite a significant gap, considering this, well, the difficulty of the track maybe not quite as much as that of Belgium.
Yeah, well, I think this track's kind of deceptively difficult. I know we were talking about it earlier, saying that it looks pretty simple. It's just straight chicane, really. But I saw earlier in the week on Twitter, I think it was Simon Vigang, one of the esports drivers, saying that he feels this is the hardest track on the game to actually like hook a lap up on and really sort of get the best out of the car. And I think I would probably agree with that in some sense, because grid position can be quite important. Maybe not so much around this track, but actually hooking up that lap and sort of getting yourself out of Q1, out of Q2, or up there in Q3 can be pretty challenging.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, from personal experience, you've got a chicane, sorry, in each sector, and I mean, really, it's a little mistake in any one of those three chicanes, and you could see yourself losing as much as half a second. So that at the moment really is sort of the difference between fourth position on the grid and 13th at the moment. So it does show that there's one mistake could really make or break your qualifying here. As McVeach is only slightly up here, he's got to be looking to gain really a good half a second in this final sector to really make an impact and move himself up the grid. Otherwise, he is going to be in danger here.
Once he's finished, Harry, you might want to
struggling a bit.
You might want to flick over to Predators. He's in 15th at the moment in the drop zone. He's on a lap at the moment.
Yeah, Matveich crosses the line, but it's only a 20.8, so it's not good enough to get him through. And he had the fuel light on, so I'm not sure if he's if that's not going to be all we see from him in this qualifying session here. On board with Preds, as you informed me, he is on a flyer at the moment. He's only marginally up as well, about the same as Matveich was through the final sector. A bit loose on the exit of Ascari, but just about held it. Coming into Parabolica now, slows it down. Yeah, pretty good on the brakes there from Preds. He's not going to put it, yeah, there we go, puts it into overtake, crosses the line, 20.5, it's only, well, it's a 2/10 improvement, sorry, beg your pardon, it's a 2/10 improvement, but it only gains him the one position as he moves up into 14th, and I'm not sure how confident I'd feel with that lap.
No, but we're not actually going to see that many more times. There's a handful of drivers in the pits, and anyone in the pits at the moment, of course, won't get a chance to set a lap, as we see quite a few retiring now.
Ical's retired on track, Jam. He's lost it out the second Lesmo.
Oh dear. I think, as I was about to say, Entrusted, he'd be the one that would be the most worried, I should think. He's still in the pits, 20.4, he's in P12.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, just seen Icalum's car there. He's obviously lost the back end on the traction or got in the gravel or something, because he's come right back across the track and hit the right. Well, yeah, Matveich is out, like you say, and yeah, I mean, while we've been talking for the last few minutes, we've slowly seen the top guys, the guys in the top 10, slowly retiring, because they're obviously, well, they feel that they're safe and comfortable with their laps. As well,
Bean's coming up to the line, mate.
Yeah, I'm on board with him now. Yeah, as you said, sort of your prediction for the cut-off at 20 flat is looking like it would be a pretty safe lap at the moment, as Bean moves himself up into 15th, but he has got competition with Jurassic Blaze on a lap, who's a good 2.5 tenths up here. So at this rate, Bean will be out. Matveich, like you say, he's out. He's going to be qualifying in 18th. I believe Loki's on a lap, so I don't know if you could get on board with him, please, Jam. Just watching Blaze now coming through Parabolica, turns in a little early, gets on the grass. It's going to lose him a bit of time, but nothing too substantial. Crosses the line, 20.5. It's
Loki's 2.5 tenths down. Sorry, right? Oh, he's lost it out of Ascari. I'd be surprised if he improves. So it's all down to Bean now.
Bean is on another lap. Yeah, Bean's on another lap. He's 600ths up, going into Ascari, but he's down now. He's lost a lot of time that middle sector. He's got to really find some time, but he's lost it for Ascari, and that is it. Bean is out. He keeps it out of the barriers quite well, to be fair to him, but that is Bean out of this quali session, and Preds has seen that and he backs off because he doesn't finish his lap.
That was lucky for him, because he wasn't going to improve either, it didn't look like. So he's escaped by the skin of his teeth.
The field has compressed a bit, but still not as much as perhaps we saw last week at Belgium, but we have got Beast Assassin setting the fastest time of the session, 19.4. So yeah, very good lap from him. His only lap that he set, and well, he's looking to obviously extend his championship lead this weekend. He's not had the best couple of races the last few weeks, I don't think. So he's obviously looking to try and get a result here and help himself out in the championship. So the 5 drivers that are leaving us this session, it is SLR Bean, he's in 16th. We got Loki 17th, Matveich 18th. Icalum, he retired towards the end of the session when he was obviously trying to improve his lap. He's down in 19th, and then Division, who had a quali ban, is he's going to be last on the grid as he got disqualified for going the wrong way, which at first really threw us off, but then yeah, we found out he had a quali ban. So
Both
yeah, there
Toro
you go.
Rosso's right at the back. Be interesting to see
Yeah,
how they can recover from pretty disappointing qualifying, you'd have to say.
yeah, and I mean in terms of strategy, this could also throw something into the mix because, well, depending on whether there's a safety car or not, obviously the hards can go, well, pretty much the distance here. The mediums and the softs not so much. Mediums you're looking at probably 20 laps maximum, and then the softs about 12-ish before they really start to sort of fall off the cliff edge. But yeah, this you could see some interesting strategy then from, well, everyone outside the top 10 really is safety car. I wouldn't say is the most likely thing here, apart from going into turn one on the first lap. That could see a collision or so, as we found out in the F2 last night. Um, but I mean, overall, the tyre wear here is it's a bit, yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it? Because I mean, like I say, the hards can do the distance, but I mean, when the softs go, they really go, because the rears are the ones that you suffer the wear on, and you can't really be flying through a Scari or Parabolica with your with your rears on 70%, can you?
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that exact same thing. I was gonna say once the tires go, they really go. You've got to look after them around here. That's important because although there's quite a few long straights, those corners can really hurt you if your tire temps or tire wear is pretty high. If I was starting outside the top 10, I'd probably be inclined to start on the mediums, gamble for an early safety car, and then you'd be ahead of everyone if they went softs to hard, say, and then hopefully, hope for a VSC or another safety car later on in the race, or even so, you'd be softs versus hards at the end. So, I think I'd like to think we'll see quite a few outside the top 10 starting on those medium tyres, but I guess we just have to wait and see what the race holds.
Yeah. Do you have the Twitch chat up, Jam, or are you have you not got that right now?
I do. It's been quite
Just
active at
wondering
the
if we,
moment. The most
yeah,
recent
just wondering if we
comments I
had
can
anything
see.
in the chat.
Freeman saying he'd do a couple laps on the mediums in Q2 and see if he could get through. And then he said if he couldn't do that, he'd go out on softs at the end. But I should imagine we'll be seeing quite a lot doing that same thing, but then deciding to go
Yeah,
on softs at the
like,
end because
well,
it seems like the more ideal strategy to get you into that top 10 shootout.
yeah, I mean, looking at the tyres right now, there's 11 drivers here with the mediums fitted. We've got Monkey, Iceman Liam, Jay Darnell, they're on the softs. And then Callum McKeon, he's on the hards. Everyone else has the mediums. And I think, to be honest, Ranga, sorry, I've just seen Ranga's retired coming out the second Lesmo on his out lap there. So he's obviously made a bit of a mistake there. And, oh, yeah, that's a pretty big wreck there. He's lost his front right tyre. Not ideal for Ranga, who did a very similar thing in quali last week, in the sense that he crashed during the qualifying session. So that means he's going to be starting P15, which is not ideal for him. As I was saying before that, if I can remember, no, I can't. Oh yeah, yes I can. Sorry. You're looking at, well, I mean, when the safety car now, the chances of there being one is just sort of increased so much over the last few weeks. Obviously with the patch, etc. I mean, it seems pretty, well, not pointless, but it seems like you'd be taking quite a big risk to start on the mediums anyway. Really, just with the likelihood of there being a safety car. I mean, like you say, if you're outside the top 10, you can afford to take that gamble because, well, you've not got as much to lose. But when the field's so close and so competitive as it is in every division here, I mean, you're going to probably be seeing the majority of drivers getting through here on the soft. I mean, you may get the odd one try it on the mediums. Some might, it might pay off for them, but I'd say the vast majority wouldn't be able to get through on the mediums here. But we'll obviously have to wait and see as Predators sets the first lap of the session. 22.1, that's beaten straight away by OMH, who does a 21.2. They're both on the mediums. I'm on board with the Renault of Top Gooner. who was up there in the first quali session. I believe he ended the session in the top 3. He's coming around Parabolic, and now coming across the line to set his lap, goes quickest with a 21.1, and Callum McKeon did a 21.8 on the hards and put himself into P3, so pretty good lap on the hard compound tyres there from Callum McKeon.
Yeah, he did. I think he did the same sort of thing last week at Spa. I should know really. I watched the race, but obviously I can't remember every set of tyres that everyone went out on. But what I do know is, at the end of that race, he was quick on his hard tyres and got a podium on track, but unfortunately for him, Clock got a 10-second time penalty removed for an incident that he just had to avoid, really. As we've seen some times flying in now, Harry.
Yeah, Jay Darnell, he's gone quickest with a 19.8. That's on the soft compound tyres, but that's not too far off what Beast did in Q1, and in fact it's I think it was better than his lap in Q1. Beast has gone fastest out of the medium runners. He's done a 20.5, so that's a good 5-6 tenths up on Crispy, who's put himself into 3rd. Crispy also on the mediums. So again, another solid lap from him, looking to obviously continue that form of Belgium last week. And Trusted's in 8th, he's on the mediums as well, but he did a 27.3, so I'd imagine that he made some sort of mistake on his lap there and he'd be looking to beat it. I'm going to go on board with Silly Bunny, he's in the Haas. He was also at the top of the timings in Q1, so I'll see what he can do on this medium compounder tyres here, as we've got 25 viewers. So I'd just like to say good evening to you all. Haven't had a chance to do it yet, so here it is. If you've got any questions, any information or anything you want to say, just drop it in the chat. I'll get Jam to have a look at it for us at some point in the session, as Bunny made a big mistake there out of the first Lesmo. That's another one of the corners, or a couple of corners on the track there where, you know, it's quite accident prone, or, you know, they cause quite a lot of accidents in the race. Just sort of the nature of them, kind of, you want to put the power down quickly, but the back end tends to sort of drop on exit if you're a bit too sort of heavy-footed, as it were, with the traction. And obviously I think Ranger and iCallum found out about that coming out of the second one, but Bunny did it almost out of the first Lesmo there, getting in the gravel, nearly losing it, but he did well to hold it, to be fair to him. And I think he's going to go again for another lap, so I'll stay on board with him. As Jadon Nell has retired, but that's in the pits, so he's obviously confident that his 19.8 will get him through. We'll obviously have to wait and see if that will be the case.
I've got a question there,
A lot
Harry.
of the drivers here... Oh yeah, sorry?
Freeman's asking predictions for pole time. I think personally Beast is looking extremely quick. My tip would be on him to get pole. I don't think the odds would be particularly good for him to... Well, the odds will be very good for him to get pole, but he won't get a good payout if he does. I shouldn't think at the moment. He's looking very quick. 20.5 at the moment, sorry, on the mediums.
Ooh,
I think pole...
He's just lost it again, Jam.
I would not
Second
be surprised if Beast is a 19.1 or a 19 flat even.
Yeah, Entrusted's retired in the pits, so that's interesting. I wonder what that's about, because he's well, he's set at 27.3, so that wouldn't get him through. Bunny, one of quite a few drivers here I've noticed taking quite a lot of the inside curve in the second corner, as it were, sort of the exit of the chicane. Quite a few drivers have been doing that, and I don't think it's really the ideal line. You're going to be screwing off a bit of time on exit just by not being able to put the power down as fast. As Jurassic Blaze goes 7th with a 21.1. Back to Freeman's question of pole time, I think, like you say, you're looking at a low 19, possibly even getting into the 18s if he really hooks a lap up or gets a toe or something. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Beast to get pole here and perhaps get into the 18s, as Entrusted is now out as well, so he's not going to be getting into the top 10, despite despite the fact that he retired so early on in the session with a fairly unconvincing 127. Going to go on board with one of the Ferraris now, Asman Liam. He crossed the line, does a 21 flat, so Ferraris, both of them looking pretty good so far in terms of pace, so that's obviously going to be pleasing the Tifosi, you'd imagine.
Yeah, Ferrari, as far as I'm aware, are bottom in the joint constructors at the moment, so they'll be needing all the points they can get. OMH got his first point in SLR last week, finished 11th, but after the stewards meeting got promoted up to P10. I'd like to see him get some more points today. I think he can. He's looking pretty quick at the moment. I just want to point out he's currently on a 21.2. He's in 11th. He's 2/10 off Liam, who's in 5th on a 21 flat. So it's extremely close at the moment, and it's getting to crunch time really for who's going to get into that top 10 shootout.
Yeah, that's well pointed out actually, because I hadn't noticed just how close the field is at the moment. I'm on board with EOR Hamilton, who he was up there in the first quali session, but he's not been as competitive thus far. He's only managed a 28.5 at the moment, but I'd imagine he made some sort of mistake on his lap. He's on a set of mediums currently, and I'd imagine that, well, you kind of want to be getting on a set of softs sort of ASAP really if you hoping to get into Q3, as most of the guys in the pits now are starting to put on a set of softs. So I wouldn't be completely surprised if Hamilton decided to back off on this lap and pit, but you never know. He may feel like he's got the pace to get through on the mediums. We'll have to wait and see.
We've got Darnell. He's saying in the chat at the moment he can't find the pace for the 19.1 he did in practice earlier, and he's saying the track feels colder, and it does look pretty overcast. It's supposed to be dry all the way, but it doesn't exactly look like optimal conditions. Freeman agreeing with that, and Steve-O is as well, saying the track's looking chilly.
Yeah, Hamilton crossing the line then does a 27. Yeah, really good lap from him actually. He puts himself up into P3, but that is immediately P4 as Top Guna goes second on a set of softs with a 22.
That's not going to get him through, Harry. That's
20.7,
unless he can get back to the pits and put a set of soft tyres on in time.
But that time really is not going to get him through. Doesn't look like he's sort of in any rush to get back to the pits.
I mean, it's not a bad lap, but I don't think it would quicken him.
No. Yeah, just to note about, like you say, the track looking cold. When we first loaded into the lobby, I actually thought it was sort of drizzling slightly, because it did look really grey and overcast, like you say. So, I mean, the sun is starting to come out seemingly a little bit, but I mean, I'd imagine the track's only going to be getting better as it heats up with this sun sort of becoming slightly more, slightly more apparent, as it were, in this session. Hamilton's in no rush whatsoever to get back to the pits, and in fact, I don't think he's going to have time. So
no, I think he's going to be out of qualifying now.
Yeah, well, he's hoping that this 20.7 will get him through, as Bunny goes second on a 20.1. I mean, Beast is still in the pits on a set of mediums.
There seems to be quite a split strategy, Harry. Sorry for cutting in on you there, but Crispy's still out. He's he was on a fast lap but got it invalidated. He's on the medium tyres. He's down in P9. He would probably need a good 5-6 tenths, I should think, and he's cutting the corners now, which seems strange. He's probably trying to get back to the pits, but unfortunately for him, he's not going to have enough time. I'm not sure if he knows that or not, though. So we could see last week's race winner and pole sitter out of qualifying here.
Yeah, most drivers are coming out on track now. We've got, I think that's Preds and Monkey and Jurassic Blaze. They've all just come out. Crispy does pit, but yeah, he's not going to have time. So Crispy looking like he's at risk of going out here. Both the Ferraris, I believe, just coming out now, but OMH is leaving it pretty darn late with only a minute 40 left in the session. Hamilton retires, So you might be made to eat your words here, Jan, because he is currently still in 5th place.
Well, we've got
He looks like he's got a decent shot of getting
we've
through.
got a Beverly
Beast
driver
Assassin as
starting
well.
laps here, Harry. Callum
Yeah,
McKeon the
Beast
first
Assassin.
to set his final time. Sorry.
Beast Assassin staying in the pits as well on a 20.5, but I'd feel more confident on getting through with that time. But yes, like you say, Callum McKeon on a lap. I'm on board with him now. He goes through the Curva Grande, looking like a pretty decent lap so far. I've noticed quite a few of these drivers are seeming to struggle to get it slowed down for turn 1. It took a very liberal line there through the chicane, cutting a lot of the inside of both the apexes, but it doesn't seem to have been invalidated, or at least on my screen it hasn't.
No,
So it's looking like a pretty tidy and quick lap at the moment. Let's see what his time is through the middle sector. 20.6. He's a 7/10 up nearly, so he's looking, well, at least for P2 at the moment. Bit wide through a Scari. You can cut that inside curve, but it's whether you really want to risk it, or you've got the balls to do it per se. But he's still nonetheless pretty good lap at the moment. He might get a little bit of dirty air from the McLaren in front coming through Parabolica, but it shouldn't be anything too drastic. And he goes across the line 19.7, and that should be good enough to get him through.
Crispy's on an outlap, but he's not got enough time to do it.
Yeah, Crispy is down in P9, so he's really at risk of leaving us this session. Beast Assassin is 5th on the mediums.
Looking further down, Monkey's invalidated in P10, so he's looking dangerous. Preds is up on his time, so Monkey could be out here, and he could be giving Preds a tow as well, to just to rub salt in the wounds.
Yeah. Do you know what I've realised as well, actually, Jan? Beast should be through anyway, I think.
Yeah, I think I might be.
Unless pretty much everyone
I think
beats
Hamilton
him.
might just squeeze through on his 20.7.
Yeah, just on board Predators then as he crosses the line. It's a 21 flat. It's not brilliant. He's only gained a 10th on what he did earlier on in the session. He is in 10th. OMH is on a lap, although it says he's on an out lap. So he's the only driver that could knock Predators out. Beast Assassin and the EOR Hamilton are both through then into Q3 on the mediums. So you have been made to eat your words there, Jan. Crispy, Predators are both out. Iceman Liam pitted, and OMH goes 3rd with a 19.9. So Predators is
I said
out.
he was looking quick.
Iceman Liam, so both the Ferraris into Q3. Predators there, 100th of a second made the difference, him going through to Q3, but unfortunately he is leaving us, and that is that then. So
Preds is
fact,
saying we'll take P11, Harry. I guess they do call it the second pole position in a sense.
And in fact, Jan, we've got 4 drivers here who have managed to get through into Q3 on the mediums. So that is Beast Assassin, EOR Hamilton, Sotia Clock, and Iceman Liam. They've all got through on the mediums. So split strategy very much here between the drivers in the top 10. We've got 6 on the softs, 4 on the mediums, and it really shows that maybe we were wrong about the tyres, or perhaps we will be right. We'll obviously have to wait and find out, as someone's car has crashed there on their in-lap. It looked like it was Predator's Red Bull though, looking at the helmet, so it might not be the end of the world.
No one's out, thankfully.
Yeah, it was Pred's Red Bull, so it didn't matter anyway, because he was the only Red Bull left in the session.
I was just going to say, mate, that's a ballsy call, I think, trying to get through on the mediums. It's worked for 4 of them, but this is good. This will spice the race up, because I still think Beast and Hamilton will be up there looking at their times on the mediums. So we could get those mediums and softs runners now right in the mix at the start. So strategy is going to play a key part in this race, I should think.
Yeah, so we've got Predators, Crispy, Monkey, and Trusted, and Oranga. They're all out. Predators the only driver who left us that session who attempted or got to do a lap on the softs, but unfortunately he wasn't quite fast enough to get through. Ranga as well didn't get a chance to set a lap as he binned it on his out lap. So then, we've got 2 Renaults, 2 Racing Points, 2 Ferraris, so the home fans will be very pleased with that. An Alfa Romeo, a Williams, a Haas and a McLaren here into Q3. So both the Renaults through, that's going to be good for them in the joint constructors as they currently lead it. But we got 40 people watching the stream then, so I'd like to hear your predictions for pole, please. I think both myself and Jam, we're going for Beast Assassin. He's shown some very strong pace so far, and I wouldn't bet against him carrying on with that form and getting himself on pole position.
No, well, he's a safe bet, isn't he? To be honest, he set the early pace in Q1 with a 19.4. Well. Yeah, of course. So yeah, definitely the safe bet. But to be honest, looking at the times without trying to disrespect anyone else, it looked like he was in a bit of a class of his own so far. Obviously, this is only qualifying. You get the points in the race, as I like to say quite often, because qualifying is not my personal forte. But no, I'd be kind of surprised, to be honest, if it's not him on that front row, on that pole position slot. But I've been made to eat my words already this qualifying session, so it could happen again.
Yeah, he's also going to have a lot of tyres here because he's only done a lap on the softs, so he's used 1 set of softs and a set of mediums so far. So if he's gone balance, like I'd recommend you do, he's going to have 3 sets of soft compound tyres here. Now I'm not sure if he would quite have enough time to actually be able to set 3 laps, although he has gone out right at the beginning of this session here, so maybe that is what he's trying to do. But nonetheless, he will be the first driver to set a lap here, so he's going to set the benchmark for everyone to try and beat. And it could be a situation here where, if like in Q1, he sets a lap and it just can't be beaten. But here we go then, on board with your championship leader and pace setter throughout this quali session for a lap. I'll let you take us through it, Jan.
Oh, that Ferrari OMH just gets out of his way. He takes a nice line through that first chicane. You want to get that just that right amount on that first part, and he's nailed it really. He's judged it to perfection. He's going to rev it up through the gears, hold out in 7th as long as you can, switch it up to 8th just after that sign. Wants to break that little shadow there. He's not committed as much as I think he probably could have done to the chicane, but he's taken it nicely through the Lesmo so far. Nice short shift up to 5th. That's going to give him better traction on the short run to the second Lesmo. Want to stay off that curb if you can, because if you put the power down on there, you are a goner. Under the old circuit and down to the 100-meter board where he's going to slow it down for Ascari. Commitment is key through here. This can make or break your lap. He gets a bit loose on the exit, but it's looked like a pretty fast lap so far. He's going to get a nice toe from Silly Bunny. Callum McKeon, they're both waiting to start their laps just after that Astro, like I said earlier, braking for the Parabolica. No short shift, which I'm surprised about, and he's backed off. I'm surprised he hasn't hit it, so backed off.
I'm going on board with Callum McKeon. I wonder if he's going to give him a toe, which he is. The Beast does go faster with a 20.4, but, well, I think we know now that he can go a hell of a lot faster. I mean, maybe he wasn't best pleased with his lap. It seemed to be pretty solid, but there's definitely seemingly some time on the table as Jay Darnell beats it, as does Clock. Darnell going quickest 19.4, saying he wasn't confident that he could get near his 19.1, but that's shown that obviously he has clearly got some good pace here. Is Callum McKeon's up on what Beast Assassin did through the first sector, but obviously he did get helped by that toe. Interestingly enough, whilst we were on board there with Beast Assassin, I noticed he wasn't using overtake down a few of the straights, so maybe he wasn't pushing at all really, just trying to set down a bit of a banker per se. I mean, it's a 20.4, he was a whole second faster in Q1, so you'd like to think that he'd gain even more time on top of that second. As Callum McKeon seems to be setting a very quick lap at the moment. Top Guna, while I've been speaking, has gone up into second on a 19.8. So Darnell's got a bit of a buffer at the moment to those around him.
I really don't get that. I don't get why, if he was going to back off, I mean, I know he's given his teammate a toe, but if he'd gone and pitted, he would have got 2 runs in still on his fresher set of tyres. But I should think we're going to see Callum McKeon go quickest there. No,
19.9, so that toe, well, while that toe may have helped him, it wasn't enough to sort of gain him significant grip position, as well, he's a whole half a second there off the current pace setter,
I'm
that is
surprised
Jay
by that,
Darnell.
because he went quicker in Q2 than what he's done there. And he had a toe.
Yeah, I think OMH was looking to get a toe off his teammate, but Iceman Liam's pitted. OMH had invalidated his first lap time, so he's going again, as had EOR Hamilton. These might just about have enough time to get 2 more runs in. We'll have to wait and see, but like you say, it is taking a bit of a gamble. I mean, well, we clearly can see that he's got some pace, but I mean, it's whether he can, well, get a clean lap in when it really matters towards the end of the session.
Nice bit of support for the Ferrari boys as well in the stream chat. They've not had the best of seasons, but nice to see them both here at their home race in the top 10 shootout. OMH obviously coming back to the league recently after a short break. He's not done too many races in SLR, but he'll be looking to add to his pretty new points tally today. And Liam, he's had a good season, I'd say. Liam, on the whole, he's been getting quicker as it's been going on.
Definitely showing some good pace the last few races. I remember Hungary. He was looking pretty quick until obviously the lobby broke or whatever. As OMH crossed the line, does a 20.2, so he slots in just behind his teammate. Puts himself in P7, so that will be the fourth row grid for him. Okay, I'll get on board with him then. Beast is on an out lap as well, so I'll try and switch over to him once Blaze has finished, or if Blaze makes a mistake. Blaze doing, well, pretty much the opposite to what Beast Assassin was doing, sorry. He's running overtake straight out of the corner here. 26-1 through the first sector. A couple of attempts off what Callum McKean was doing. I don't know what Jay Darnell managed through the first sector. But yeah, Jurassic Blaze keeping it in overtake here throughout the whole lap. Interesting use of the ERS deployment here as he goes in, gets on the grass on the inside of the second Lesman, runs it out wide, touches the gravel. That's going to lose him a bit of time here. Maybe not the optimal line. 53.4 through the middle sector. It's not setting the world alight, and he backs off because I think he... Oh, does he back off? No, I think he made a bit of a mistake there on a Ascari, sort of not oversteered, but sort of steered a bit too much and had to correct it. As he's coming through Parabolic, and now it seems like it's a pretty conservative lap, so I wonder if he's actually going to set this lap time when it comes to the pits. Yeah, he's coming into the pits.
Beast is flying, I think,
would
Harry.
be the case. Yeah, Beast is on a lap. I've just switched over to him as we're going through Ascari, so we're going to catch this final sector here. Runs it wide on the exit, but it shouldn't have been invalidated there. It looks like it's alright at the moment.
No, you can get away with that.
I don't know how much of this lap you've been watching, Jam, but from what I've seen, it's looking pretty darn quick. Coming through Parabolica here, smooth on the traction on the exit, sort of shortens the exit of the corner, across the line, 19.4. It is provisional pole, but it's maybe not as convincing as perhaps we thought, as it's, I think it's actually slower than the last time we set in Q1, and now he's cutting the track to try and make it back to the pits, which is perhaps an interesting tactic.
Don't know if that's allowed or not, to be honest.
Clock's starting the lap as well.
Yeah, I've switched over to him. He's going to pick up the toe off of Ferrari, I think.
Getting a bit of a toe off of Ferrari, who doesn't...
That's going to put you off.
No. Yeah, that's put him off.
Wasn't very kind to him.
Into turn one there. I don't know quite what Liam was doing. I wonder if he thought that maybe Clock was... Well, I don't know, to be honest, but I'm not sure. Well, I wouldn't imagine it was deliberate anyway, but that has lost Clock a lot of time there as he's 2.5 tenths down through the first sector.
No, I wouldn't say he got in his way. It was probably more distracting having the car on his inside when he was slowing down for the first corner.
Especially when
it's looked quite nice
to the apex as well.
After that, to be honest.
Yeah, I wonder if Clock's going to be a bit closer, gaining some time for the middle sector. In fact, he's gained a whole 3 tenths through that middle sector, so just imagine what Clock could be doing if he hadn't have been distracted there. But no fuel light coming on here, so we might be able to go around for another lap anyway. Beast Assassin is in the pits, and I think he will just about have enough time here, even with cutting turn 1. Block's going to cross the line, 19.6.
He'll be frustrated with that. He would have gone fastest, I think, if
yeah,
Liam hadn't been there in the first sector.
Clock's either got a lot of fuel and he's sort of going to go again here, but he hasn't got
Liam's
a
gonna
great
get
deal of
blocked,
time if that's what he's
Yeah.
doing. Liam's been blocked, has he, by...
I think
is that
so.
Blaze and
Drastic
Renault?
Blaze. I think he thought Clock was on a lap, and he's tried to slow down to let him through, and he's just not been able to get out of the way of Liam, who was approaching fast behind.
Is Beast going to be coming back out, Jam? It doesn't look like it at the moment.
He's out at the moment.
Pretty much got
He's gonna
no
have to,
time now.
He's going to have to cut some corners to do his lap, so I'm not sure what view the stewards will have on that, if he does do so.
Yeah. I'm on board with Liam then, because he's the only driver currently that's on a flyer, as Clock had just finished his lap. But like you say, he did get blocked through turn 1, so I wonder if he's going to be up on his time. Yeah, he is. He's 3/10 up, so a bit like Clock, finding a lot of time in the middle sector, and well, it's only up to the imagination how much time, how much more time he could have gained if he'd had a clean run through the first sector. I'll stay on board with him though as he finishes this lap. I mean, 3/10 could be enough to get him P4 at the moment, so we'll have to see as Liam crosses the line here. It's a 19.8, it's P5 for the Ferrari driver, as we've got a bit of a train going on through Parabolica. Jadon Nell's on a lap, he's a 10th up through the first sector. Could you watch Beast, Jam? Just let me know if he manages to get round in time or not.
If he,
I'll stick with Jadon Nell as he's looking.
I was going to say, if Beast makes it round and sets the time, I can imagine there'll be a few drivers who won't be happy with this, because he's cut the whole course to do the lap. I know in a few other leagues that I participate in, that will be frowned upon heavily by the stewards, but I mean, I'm a steward myself, but I'm really not sure what the ruling is in terms of that. He's backed up with his lap anyway.
Jadon Nell's looking pretty quick though. I think he should be taking pole here. Let's see if it's anywhere near that 19.1 that he said he couldn't get near. It's a 19.2. Jadon Nell taking provisional pole for Alfa Romeo. Top Guna goes up to 3rd in the Renault. Beast has backed off, like you say. Clock's 3/10 up, so he was going again, but he's down through the middle sector. Any sort of marginal gain here could see Clock gaining a position, but we'll have to wait and see.
Next up to the line, I think, hey?
Silly Bunny's pitted. We got a Ferrari coming up to the line, but that's Liam pitting. Drastic Blaze has invalidated, so his lap time is irrelevant. Who do we have? Clock. It won't let me switch to anyone, so I'm going to have to watch OMH, but he's on a pretty good lap anyway. 19.8 for him, so it's a Ferrari, all Ferrari 3rd row.
Clock went 3rd as well, Harry.
Puts himself into 5th. Clock did go 3rd, as you say, and so there we go. He's not
valid lap.
quite managing to, well, sort of find the pace that we thought he had. We've both been proven wrong, as I'm sure quite a few people in the chat have been proven wrong as well, but that's taking nothing away from Jadon Nell, who's obviously pulled out a very good lap there to take pole with a 19.2, a whole 2/10 clear of his nearest challenger, which is Beast Assassin, your championship leader. Drastic Blaze and EOR Hamilton both unfortunately not able to set a lap. It's an all Ferrari 3rd row, so I'm sure that they'll be pleased with that. The Tifosi and all the Ferrari fans. Top Guna as well, looking pretty good up there in 4th, and as you say, Clock up in 3rd, so he did manage to find some time in that final sector, so good for him. Callum McKeon had a pretty quiet session, as did Silly Bunny. Didn't really see too much of either of them, but it's looking like it's setting up here to be an absolutely thrilling race, as a lot of these guys looking pretty darn quick. So there you go, just a look at the top 10 on the grid. Unfortunately, as I said, Jurassic Blaze and EOR Hamilton both not able to set a lap, so their true pace is relatively unknown, although they were both looking pretty quick throughout this qualifying session. So it is Jadon Nell who takes pole in the Alfa Romeo, sharing that front row with the championship leader, UK Beast Assassin, who many of us tipped for pole, but he couldn't quite do the lap when it mattered. But nevertheless, I'm sure he'll have some pretty solid race pace if it's anything like the pace that he showed throughout the quali session there. I mean, even though he didn't get pole, it was still a pretty good lap there, P2. So I'm sure he can't be too disappointed with that. We're gonna have a quick 5-minute break here before the start of the race, just so the drivers can get a drink, go to the bathroom, whatever. So we will catch you guys in 5 minutes.
Right, so I believe Harry has just taken a little break, as will the drivers, just before the start of this race. But I've seen Freeman in the stream chat asking for predictions for the race. Personally, for me, I think the most interesting thing to note will be the fact that Darnell is on the softs and the two behind him of Beast and Clock are both on the mediums. I think that will definitely come into play at some point in this race. If I was Beast or Clock, I'd just be looking to stick in Darnell's slipstream as best I could and try and hang on. And then towards the end of their stint on the mediums, really push it and try and get a overcut if possible on Darnell. But I think at the end, if they can stick with Darnell for the first stint on their softs, they'll be looking good, I should think.
All right, I'm back, Jam. What's been going on, mate?
I've just been filling everyone in on my personal views for the race in terms of the top three anyway, with that mixed strategy. And quite a few in the bottom selecting mediums, but also quite a few selecting softs. If it was me, I'd be on mediums, as I stated earlier, but obviously all depends on damage and collisions and things at the start of safety cars. You really
Yeah,
can't predict anything. It's set in stone anyway, but I think, like I just said, if those medium runners can stick with Darnell, then I think we could see
yeah.
one of them on the top step.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I mean, from a personal standpoint, if I was in Darnell's position, you'd want to be breaking the DRS, putting a gap and hoping for a safety car around the pit window. So sort of lap at any time from about lap 7 maybe you could pit. If there was a safety car, you could pit, take the mediums to the end. If not, it's a bit of a question as to whether the hards could. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure they could do the whole race distance. It's just whether the pace, the drop off on the hards is going to be sort of too drastic, and you wouldn't be able to sort of make up the lost ground or whatever that you'd have being on the harder compounded tyres. But the one advantage Jay Darnell has got is that if Beast and Clock don't lose any ground off the start, he will have sort of them as a bit of a buffer, as it were, from the soft runners behind, being Top Gooner and OMH. So that could prove quite handy for Darnell if he can pull away a bit and then hope that either Beast and Clock hold up the soft runners, or they have a bit of a battle themselves. Because like a track like Monza, really, you any sort of battling that can occur can really make or break your race. Because if you spend too long like stuck behind someone or battling with someone and you lose DRS to the car in front, then well, it's pretty drastic, because it's so difficult to get back into the DRS once you're out of it, unless obviously you've got such a significant pace advantage over the others. But we're about to start in a sec. Just one final point that I'll make is that Beast Assassin and Clock are perhaps in almost a better position than Darnell, because their tyres will be able to go that much further into the race, and if we don't see a safety car that early on, then it's going to play into Beast and Clock's hands. I mean, any time after about lap 10 or 11, which is sort of the latest you'd want to be staying out on the softs, if there's a safety car then on any mediums runner would be looking pretty good. But I will shut up for a second as we go through the formation lap, and I'll let you take us through the grid then, Jam.
Yeah, just quickly wanted to note a lot of support for the Ferrari boys in the stream chat. As far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure this is their best qualifying of the season, 5th and 6th. I'm sure they'll be hoping to capitalise on a pretty strong performance. You'd have to say that overall they're the best team in terms of starting positions. And yeah, they'll definitely be looking for some good points for the race. People predicting Darnell for a top 3 finish. I saw a few saying Beast for the win. I think he'd probably still be my tip, showing showing some pretty strong pace earlier on. But nevertheless, we have Darnell on pole, a very strong qualifying from him. A 20.2 is by no means a bad lap. It's in fact a pretty impressive one. I'm sure that would put him in a very good position on the Div 1 grid. Beast and Clock 2nd and 3rd on the mediums. Be interesting to see, as we've already pointed out, how their strategy will pan out. Top Gooner in 4th, my team for Renault, so obviously I'm pleased with that, but I'm sure he'll be pleased with that qualifying himself. OMH and Iceman Liam 5th and 6th for Ferrari. They've gone for a split strategy. Liam on the mediums, OMH on the softs. Silly Bunny 7th, Callum McKeon 8th, Drastic Blaze 9th, and EOR Hamilton 10th, the last of the medium tyre runners to get into Q3. Fred starts 11th, followed by last week's winner Crispy. Surprise elimination, you'd have to say, from Q2. Monkey 13th, Entrusted 14th, Rango 15th after his unfortunate crash in Q2. Beans is 16th, Loki 17th, McVeach is 18th, and we have both the Toro Rossos rounding off the grid. Interestingly enough, also on a split strategy, but I'll hand it back over to you, Harry, for the start of this Italian Grand Prix.
Okay, I'll try and find a good camera angle, but it doesn't look like we're gonna get one. Oh, this is awful. The camera's rubbish.
Go to OMH.
Okay, we'll go with that one. There we go. I found one. So it's 5 red lights. Oh, long hold there, but it is lights out. Seems like a pretty good start there from Beast Assassin, actually, as we've got a Ferrari on the grass already. Top Gooner's made an absolute flyer. He's past Clock already. Silly Bunny up into 5th. Seems to be relatively clean at the moment. Jade Arnell getting away. He's still in the lead. He's got Beast though right on his rear bumper, right on his diffuser there. Gooner made a pretty solid start. He gained, got the jump on Clock, and Beast lost an end plate. Beast has hit Jade Arnell, and Jade Arnell's round. So the top 2 on the grid, they've come together, and Top Gooner's going to take the lead. Beast hitting Jade Arnell And Darnell's got a collision penalty for collision with Monkey, and so has Bean, so they've been caught up in it. So the top two there coming together. Beast losing an end plate. J Darnell, the biggest loser out of that though. He's gone from first to last in a matter of one sector.
I've been
Gunnar
watching
takes
Ranga.
the lead, and he's pulling away. Sorry, Jam. Gunnar is.
I've been watching Ranga, and he's
away 8 tenths.
He's up 10 already, from 15th to 5th. And the first
Yeah, wow, what a
over
start.
yet. There was only minimal contact at the back from what I could see, but it all obviously kicked off at the end of that first sector. Great start from OMH as well. He's already up into the podium positions. Oh, there's a bit of contact between him and Drastic Blaze. I'm not sure if he... it looked like Drastic Blaze maybe went in a bit hot and understeered into the side of him. But Top Gunner takes the lead from Sotia Clark.
Yeah, the gap's 1.2 already, Jam, so Top Gunner is obviously looking to sort of do what I predicted J Darnell would do, and that is sort of extend that gap whilst he's on the soft compound tyres. Like you say, OMH with a brilliant start. Iceman Liam is battling with Crispy there for 6th. OMH up into 3rd from, I believe, 6th or 7th on the grid. Ranga, he's up 11. He's
a man on a mission.
Blaze as well. Blaze is one to note. He's made a pretty good start as well. He's up 4. Crispy's up 5 as well. It's all kicking off a little bit with who's that, Silly Bunny and Predators having a bit of a battle. So there's a big gap between Bunny and Crispy, who are in 7th and 8th respectively. But Ranga, has to be said, making up for lost ground there, whatever he lost in quali, as we've got a Toro Rosso in the wall out the second Lesman. That's Callum, that's the same place he crashed out in quali, and we're going to see a move here, I think, for 2nd place. OMH using those soft compound tyres to his advantage here. He's right up the gearbox of Clock. He has a little peek into Parabolica, but he backs out of it, thinks better of it. He's going to get the run down the main straight here as Top Gunner sets another fastest lap. Got a 1.8 second lead now. OMH actually losing time down the straight, so Clock, he's just going to bide his time, I think. So Clock now looking in a really good position. I was going to say on the formation lap actually, don't count out Clock because he is in a good position here, 3rd on the grid on the mediums. Obviously he's been helped out by the contact between Beast and J Darnell, as Ranga now around the outside of OMH. So Ranga's up into 3rd, swoops around the outside through Curva Grande, and OMH getting the gravel a bit on the exit, but Ranga absolutely flying at the start of this race. He's up 12 positions now, up into P3. The Alfa Romeo driver looking extremely quick in these opening exchanges.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to pretty much stick on board with Ranga for the whole of these first 3 laps. He made a nice start, actually kept out of trouble, and he is flying at the moment. I'd say apart from Top Gunner, he's almost certainly the quickest man out on track. I've noticed people saying that Clock is going to win at this rate, but I'm going to stick with my Renault boy and say Top Gunner, because he is just doing exactly what I would want to do in this situation. He's pulling away and he's letting the rest squabble it out behind him.
Yeah, I'm just seeing a battle here for between P8, 9, 10 and 11. We've got 4 different constructors battling it out. It's Preds and Bunny. Oh, they make contact down the straight. EOR Hamilton going on to the advertising there to get past them both, as Preds and Bunny made a bit of contact there, a bit of wheel banging. Preds nearly veered off into the wall. OMH has got a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, so I wonder if he's had to sort of avoid.
He made a mistake at the first corner. I think he went in too hot.
Ah, there you go.
As you were,
we've missed Ranga up into 2nd as well.
Exactly that, yeah.
As Blaze gets a penalty as well. Yeah, this is interesting though. Kind of exactly what I said you wouldn't want to happen has happened with the gap between Iceman Liam in 7th and EOR Hamilton in 8th. It's at 3.3 seconds. And we've also kind of missed Crispy as well, who's also on a bit of a charge himself. Up 8, he's into P4 now. So he's right on the back of Clock as well. Ranga's really charging though. He's already half a second ahead of Clock, and he's going to be looking now to try and close that gap down to Top Gunner. So it's kind of a couple of groups forming here. We've got the top between 2nd and 7th. They've sort of formed a bit of a group, and then sort of 8th all the way down to P15 by the looks of things. They've sort of collected together and formed a bit of a train here. And yeah, Matt Veach as well, making a really good start, up 7 into P11. There's yellow flags in the final sector. I'm not entirely sure what that's for. There seems to be a McLaren going slowly. But yeah, I mean, a really chaotic start to this Grand Prix then. We've had some drivers really getting their skates on here. Ranger, Crispy gaining a lot of positions, and we have the top 2 coming together on the first lap at, well, the third corner, sort of proving to be a bit of a oh, as Entrusted has left the session, so I don't know if you could try and get him back in, Jam. Yeah, I was going to say,
Clock's made a mistake.
Clock's gone off. Yeah, Clock's gone off at the second Lesmo into the gravel. He's lost a lot of time there. I was going to say that chicane, it was where obviously Hamilton and Vettel came together in real life, so it's been a bit of a meeting place, as it were, for some of the quickest drivers in real life. As yeah, Clock, big mistake onto the gravel. Luckily for him, it's not lost him a great deal. It's lost him a few positions, but he's not lost like a lot in terms of track position. Although there is a gap forming now between Blaze and OMH, as OMH is looking to try and stick with this top 4, as it were, as Ranger has started now to close the gap down to Top Gunner.
I was going to say, Clock was in a really nice position there. He had a lot of his ERS left. I should imagine he was just going to bide his time, wait for Ranger's tyres to go off. I'm currently watching the battle for P9 here. It's about 9 to 12. It now. It's really heating up. Predator's lost 2 positions in the space of 1 straight. But it's getting a bit feisty by the looks of things, Harry. Throughout the whole field.
Yeah, there is 9th to 14th. It's going to be soon. It's a big sort of, well, not even train really. It's just a cluster of cars. They're all tussling for position. Any moment they can, every corner there's someone looking for a move on someone else. I could see this all ending in tears, but you'd like to think it wouldn't. But I mean, just when you've got so many cars fighting for position, such close proximity, you can only really see it ending one way, can't you?
Yeah, keep an eye on Crispy here, Harry. He's on fresh tyres as well as Ranger. He's got 80% of his ERS left. The 2 ahead of him have 30.
Yeah, Crispy looking in a really good position though. Top Gun has obviously been trying to expend some of his battery though, obviously to try and pull away. And someone else looking to come back through the field is Clock. He's got onto the back of Drastic Blaze again. He's going to be getting the DRS, so we could see Clock getting back up into P5 here. And I still wouldn't count Clock out here. I mean, he's about 5 or 6 seconds. Maybe slightly more off the lead, but you know, it's not too big a gap. And I mean, all he needs really is a VSC or a well-timed VSC or a safety car, and he's right back in this. So obviously got good pace. I mean, qualifying P3 and getting through on the mediums. As yeah, he's back up into P5 now, and Crispy is right on the back of Ranger, and they're both closing in on Top Gunner. The gap's come down about half a second since I last looked at it.
It's been about half a second in that lap, Harry.
Gunner goes a little bit wide out of the second Lesmo.
Crispy's going to make a move as well, sorry.
Pulling away. Yeah, on board with Crispy as he goes around the outside of Ranger into Ascari, gets the move done. Now if Ranger's smart, he'll just sit with Crispy. They don't want to battle too much because, well, like I was saying, if you battle too much, you're going to lose the time to the car in front. So they really should be looking to work together here to try and catch up to Top Gunner, who really hasn't put a foot wrong so far. I mean, he got a tremendous start and then capitalised on the collision between the top 2. The gap is starting to come down now, but I mean, there's not really much you can take away from him at the moment, because he is doing exactly what he needs to. He's still ahead of the DRS. He's out of the DRS of the cars behind him, so he's looking pretty solid at the moment. And OMH, I believe, has made some sort of mistake because he's lost a lot of time here to Ranger. The gap was only about 6-7 tenths. It's now up to 2.5 seconds almost. So he's made some sort of mistake here.
Can you see the tyres as well, please, mate? A few people asking for that in the stream chat.
Yeah, let me get them. Where are they? There we are. Gonna get back on board then with this battle for P9 as Veach gets the switch back Going into the first Lesmo, he goes up the inside of Predators, gives him the room. Good driving there between the pair of them. But Matt Veach now up into P9, and all this battling has allowed EOR Hamilton to sort of escape from the clutches of those cars behind, and he's actually gaining quite significantly onto the back of Iceman Liam, who's in P7. So EOR Hamilton as well showing some really solid pace at the
there's a
moment
spinner
in
at the
this
back.
race.
Silly Bunny's round. Sorry, Harry.
Yeah, Bunny's round. I've just seen it on the mini map.
Division.
Oh, okay, so Bunny, yeah, losing it in a Ascari. Contact with the Toro Rosso of Division. This train is still going though. Matt Veach is actually pulling away now from Predators, though he's out of Predators DRS. So that's really crucial for Matt Veach. So Predators now under threat from Callum McKeon, who's had a bit of a quiet race so far. We've not really seen too much of him. He's lost a couple of positions, I believe, from where he qualified, but he goes up the inside into turn 1, gets the move done there. Very nice move there from him, but Predators might look to come back here through Curva Grande. He's getting the slipstream, but he's running no ERS, so perhaps he's just happy to sit behind at the moment. And then other than that,
Liam got past Drastic Blaze,
yeah,
and Crispy has gapped Ranger's DRS.
Yeah, Crispy's shown really good pace, or well, I think more Ranger's just dropped off a little because the gap to Top Gunner hasn't changed too much, but the gap to Ranger certainly has. So I wonder if Ranger's made some sort of mistake. Lap 9 now, so I think we're going to start to see a few drivers coming in. A few of the drivers on the softs, they'll be looking to come in and make their pit stop. It is a pretty easy one stop, as I mentioned earlier. It's mediums to softs or softs to mediums, depending on what way you choose. So yeah, Top Gun is starting lap 10 with a 1.6 second lead. I would imagine we're going to see the first of the pitters coming in the next couple of laps or so.
Darnell was pitted. His day's gone from bad to worse. He's got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Clock's on a charge as well, Jam. He's right on the back of OMH, so Clock's really made up quite a lot of that time that he's lost. He's right on the back of OMH now, as the field's really started to spread out. Then after these opening exchanges, I mean, there's a lot of gaps forming, but you've got some drivers in really good positions here. I mean, I still wouldn't count out Clock. He's down in P5, but he's about, what, 6 seconds, maybe less off the lead, showing really good pace on those medium tyres. And like I said, like just a well-timed VSC, and he's right back in the fight. He's on the back of OMH, whose tyres will be starting to go off, as he'll have done about 11 or 12 laps if you count his quali and out lap. So Clock will really be looking to try and get past OMH as soon as he possibly can, because, well, at this point in the race, you'd imagine that the mediums are going to be the better race tyre than the softs. Top Gunner pits, Crispy pits, Ranger pits, OMH stays out, but he's got Clock behind him, so we'll stay on board with this. Clock going to the right hand side, swoops back onto the racing line because he's easily gotten past OMH there, sorry, and he takes the lead, but he locks up into turn 1, loses the back end, bumps the side of OMH's car. I don't think OMH got any damage from that, but that certainly wasn't ideal. Clock a bit hot on the brakes there and locking up, but as far as he's concerned, that didn't really lose him too much. Do you know where the top 3 have come out in relation to everyone else? Jam's Clock is a bit squirmy.
They've got a nice little gap
through the chicane.
But crucially, Crispy is now in Top Gunner's DRS, and Crispy has almost all of his ERS, and Top Gunner looking very short. So I should think within the next few laps we might see a change of the net race lead. Also, just to add to that, I would not be surprised if Iceman Liam or Sotia Clock, or if not both, end up on this podium today. Both still on the medium tyres, and Liam's had a pretty quiet race. He's gone a bit unnoticed, but he's been driving well, as well as OMH. Both Ferraris having good races, but as I was saying, Clock back in the lead. He was looking like he was going to be in the net lead earlier, but he'll be looking to go flying at the end on a fresh set of soft tyres.
Yeah. So OMH pits then. I was just about to point out, obviously the Ferraris being on the split strategy gave OMH the freedom to sort of pit whenever he liked. Another driver to mention actually is EOR Hamilton, who is on the back of Iceman Liam, so he's certainly not out of the podium fight. If there is a safety car in the next few laps, they'd be in a really good position. OMH is going to come out in P8, just about. He's got Monkey right behind him, although Monkey hasn't pitted yet. So yeah, you've got the top four. They're all on the mediums. They've had them from the start. So, I mean, Division is quite a way behind those in front of him. But like I keep saying, a safety car would be really, really good for Clock or Liam or Hamilton right now. But at the moment, I wouldn't bank on one because it has been pretty clean at the moment.
No one's
obviously
started
that could all
so far.
change. Yeah, we've still got all 20 drivers remaining. Clock is extending his gap all the time here as EOR Hamilton is still behind Liam. I wonder if we'll see a move here for second place. I'm going to stay on board with Hamilton, see if he can get past the Ferrari driver here. It wouldn't put him in the best books with the crowd as Liam was a bit wide through Parabolica. So here we go then, it's a Williams on a Ferrari. As Liam's actually missing an M plate as well, Jam. I've just noticed his front left. He's
oh
I
my
don't think
god,
he's got it.
Crispy's
What we
having
got?
some horrible connection issues. He's gone from being 5/10 off Top Gooner to 1.7
yeah,
behind
dropped a
OMH.
lot.
He was going to
that
pass him
is
for the lead on that main
awful
straight.
for him. Oh,
he's just
rotten
dropping down.
luck then for Crispy. Oh no.
Yeah, I can't believe that. He
Oh,
made
that is
such a
awful
good. He
'cause
was having such a good race.
Such a great race. Yeah. Oh.
No, he's
I
out.
can
He's out of
only-
this
I
race.
can
There's
only
no way.
feel- I
There's
can
no way he's
only
getting anything from it now.
Feel bad for him because no driver wants their race to be effectively ended by something like that, which is such a shame because, like you say, Crispy has made such a great start, did nothing wrong, and was looking like one of the favourites to take the win. That is rotten luck there for the Mercedes driver. My heart goes out to him because that is, nothing he can do about it. As once Hamilton got past Liam, then he's really started to pull the gap. Obviously Liam, I think, will be struggling a little bit, missing an M plate through, Parabolica certainly. That's one that likes to throw you out wide anyway. Clock's extending his gap, and I mean the top three that have really spread out then, because obviously there was Crispy in between Top Goon and Ranga, now there isn't. OMH is definitely not out of the podium fight here. He's in an effective about P4, I think, so he's still in a pretty good position. Beast Assassin is up into 8th, although he will probably have to pit again, as will Monkey, as unfortunately Crispy has left the session. He's lost so much time. Look at that. If you look on the mini-map where Top Gooner is coming through Curva Grande, and then Crispy's not even at Parabolica yet. So that is awful for him. Such a shame. I mean, I know I keep going on about it, but I was hoping that it would be a really good battle for the lead between himself and Top Gooner, but it doesn't look like we're going to get it. So, to continue, we have the top 4 who have all not pitted, all 4 of them starting on the medium compound tyres. Iceman Liam has actually got back into the, got back within a few tenths now of Hamilton, so I wonder if Hamilton's made a mistake because he's lost about second to Clock. You're looking at these medium runners to be pitting, as early as lap 16 really, because they'll be coming onto fresh softs, so they will be able to do a lap or two more than perhaps the guys at the start of the race could.
There you go, Harry.
I
think Clock's going to win this race.
Yeah, he was certainly someone I wasn't counting out on the formation lap. It's going to be really interesting to see where he comes out in relation to the likes of Top Gooner and Ranga. I mean, even if he comes out a few seconds behind him, you'd imagine that he'd have the pace to catch back up on the soft compound tyres. He is still extending that gap by a couple of tenths. It's quite interesting because obviously the field being as spread out as it is, and so many drivers sort of pitting already or not pitting as of yet. It's sort of meaning that the actual running order of this race is relatively unknown. Although there's definitely 5 or 6 drivers here who could see themselves on the podium towards the end of this race.
Yeah, I've just said I think Clock's going to win. He's going to have to work for it, though. He's going to have to get past a few drivers at the end here, I should think. As Hamilton pits Harry from second place.
Hamilton pits. Yeah, I was just looking at the gaps to see sort of where these guys would feed back out into. I reckon you're going to see Hamilton come out around about the P9, P10 kind of range. Clock's got 24 seconds to OMH, so I reckon Clock will come out around about where OMH is on track. So he'll want to be ahead of him if possible, but if not, get past him as quickly as possible, because then he's got about 8 seconds to Top Gooner, because Top Gooner is only 16 behind Clock at the moment. It's a really interesting one though, because if you're Clock or Liam, do you go a couple of laps extra and hope that there's a safety car, or do you play it safe and carry on anyway, you know, doing the strategy how it's intended, pitting on around lap 16, as I imagine we're going to see Clock come in this lap. You want to really give yourself as many laps as possible on the softer compounded tyres to make up, well, the time that he will be losing at the moment, because being on that, being on the mediums and all the guys that he was fighting with at the start of the race being on fresh mediums, it's going to mean he's losing time as Clock does pit. Ranga just picked up a penalty there, so that could be crucial towards the end of this race. I'm going to stay on board with Clock just to see whereabouts he comes back out, as I'd imagine Division will probably pit as well. Top Gooner is crossing the start-finish line now, so he's going to be comfortably in the lead of this race.
Division's been getting on with his race quietly after his quali ban. He kept it clean, he'd driven nicely up until his pit stop, and I think he'll reap the rewards a bit later on, as Clock does come out in third place.
Yeah, Clock's out ahead of OMH, so, well, that's gone exactly how Clock would have wanted.
He's 7 off the lead as well.
Yeah, 7 off the lead, so that's definitely a gap that he could close down.
Ranga's a net P2.
Well, he's got 10 laps to gain 7 seconds. You'd imagine that it's possible. I mean, I know it's a long way from the end now, but if you're looking at someone for driver of the day, Ranga's putting his name in the hat, isn't he? With up 13 positions, a brilliant drive at the moment from P15 to P2. Sorry. It's going to be really interesting to see, because there's a lot of these sort of lower points positions now. You've got Jay Donnell down in 8th, but he's got a big train behind him all the way down to Liam and Division in 12th and 13th. So this is sort of the battle for the lower end of the points. It will be interesting to see whereabouts these lot all finish the race, as in terms of like pit stops, all these guys now have stopped, accepted and trusted. But some of these drivers will have been on these tyres quite a bit longer than others, if I can find them. Yeah, there we go. Beast is in 5th, but he's done 15 laps on those mediums, and he is pitting again as Hamilton sets the fastest lap on the soft compound tyres, and Clock is homing in on Ranga Jam. He's really gained quite a bit of time that lap. He's gained a good second or so that lap. As yeah, we've got all these drivers now. Liam is in 10th position, but he's battling really for 6th place on these fresh softs. So he's going to look to try and gain all that time. Eeyore Hamilton has managed to. I tell you what, Liam's changed from wing jam.
Yeah,
that's why
I was about to say.
That's why he's come out such a long way behind Hamilton. And really, I wouldn't bet against Hamilton getting a podium here, Jan, because he's in 5th place on a fresh set of softs. He's done the same strategy as Clock here. He's closing in on OMH, who, well, I mean, if you're in OMH's position, I'm sure you take a P5, considering, as Hamilton gets a penalty, so that's not going to be great for him. Just going to go back to this battle then for what is P6. It's between Blaze, Darnell, Callum McKeon and Predators. So, pardon me, this is looking like a really, really good battle. It could be heating up in the next few laps. Hamilton sets another fastest lap, so he is really flying, as is Clock, who's now only 1.3 seconds behind Ranga.
Darnell back up
Darnell,
into 6th.
Yeah, goes for the move. Yeah, so Darnell's making the most out of a pretty bad situation that he got put into on the first lap. I mean, I'm not trying to portion the blame to anyone there. I didn't really catch the incident, but I mean, it did seem as though he was the one who got hit. But yeah, he's back up into 6th, so he is fighting for position here. He doesn't need to make another stop. So yeah, like I say, he's making the most of a bad situation. He's battling for P6, so it's still going to be some decent points at the end of the day. Obviously, I'm sure he'll feel that he could have got the win here, but I mean, when you get spun on lap 1 like he did, you've got to sort of look at the positives, I think. As
Clock's going to be making the move for P2 here, Harry.
Yeah, I'll just get over then, because there is quite a few drivers in that train, all with penalties, so that could also be a deciding factor. As, like you say, Jan, we've got Clock then looking to make the move for P2.
Yeah, just
Ranga will be fighting this.
Just to add to your point on penalties, I haven't actually seen Top Gunner get any yet, but I think Clock picked one up earlier. I think he might have done. Ranga defends well.
Squeezes Clock, but yeah, like you say, defends well. That's not going to help Clock's case, because he really would have wanted to get past Ranga then and go in pursuit of Top Gunner, because
Hamilton just got past OMH, Harry, and Callum McKeon got past Drastic Blaze.
As he did. Yeah, so OMH, he's down to 5th, but like I said, I mean, considering he only scored his first point the other week, you'd take another 10 the week after, wouldn't you?
I'm sure you would.
Blaze and Predators, Blaze and Callum McKeon coming into contact with each other there in the middle of such a chicane. I think it was a bit of just wheel to wheel rather than a front wing to front wing, as Ranga has lost that position to Clock down the back straight into Ascari. Clock has made up the position, so he's going to be hopefully trying to break out ahead of Ranga and make sure that Ranga doesn't get back past with the DRS. Blaze did come into contact with Callum McKeon, and that has allowed Darnell to pull away slightly. Predators is also right on the back of Drastic Blaze now, so with a bit of DRS assistance we could see Predators moving up into P8. I'll stay on board with these two, as it is the closest battle on track for any sort of meaningful positions, as Division dives at the inside of Predators into Parabolica. So he's pitted for fresh softs, and he's looking pretty racy now. He's it's going to be 3 wide, I think, as Predators pulls to the left, just about keeping it off the grass. It's going to be whoever's latest on the brakes here into turn 1. It looks like it's Division. Predators wanting to turn in, but Division's having none of it, as Drastic Blaze comes back through the middle and taps Predators on exit. As Liam, then that allows Liam through, so that's going to have helped Liam. He won't have been sort of losing quite as much time behind those as well, obviously he would have been fearing, but it does mean that Division and Blaze are going side by side through the middle sector, although they're not, because Blaze decided to back out of this. As
wasn't the cleanest of race in that.
Yeah, it was a little bit messy, wasn't it? Clock's gained about half a second on Guna since he got past Ranga, and Crispy has unfortunately called it a day. He's just pulled into the pits and retired. I mean, you've got a feel for him. He was having such a good race, but the connection issues, they just proved to sort of, well, be the unravelling of him, as Liam got a brilliant run through Ascari, straight past Blaze. Thank you very much. That was a pretty easy one there for Liam. Didn't lose any time at all behind the Renault driver. And he's going to be in pursuit of Division now, as they're both on the same strategy. Their tyres are both 4 laps old, and well, this is really a fight for position. It could be a fight for as much as P6 in the closing stages of this race, and I think in a few laps time Clock is going to be looking to make a move on Top Gunner. He's already gained about 1.5 seconds to the Renault driver since he got past Ranga, so Saucy Clock, despite making that mistake in the opening exchanges of this race, getting in the gravel at this corner here, the second Lesmo, he's really made up for it, and he is up into P2 and looking like a pretty good shout for the win here.
Freeman pointed out in the stream that Liam's DRS might be down. That is a very good spot, because I'm pretty sure it is. He wasn't using it at all on that straight, and you'd be pretty silly not to be running it around a circuit like this. I just want to give a special shout out to Division. Obviously, he got a quali ban, but he's made the most of a bad situation. He's up into P7 after starting last. He's had a great race last week after disappointing one last time.
Yeah, Division, I believe, picked up a 5-second penalty on the first lap. I think he hit the spinner of Darnell, so that's not going to help his cause. It was definitely one of the Toro Rossos that got caught up in it, but he is up into P7. Liam is now the next driver that's going to be in Callum McKeon's rear view mirror, as he's had a couple of these soft runners right on his back. Yeah, Liam isn't using DRS. Yeah, his front wing is staying firmly shut, so that's really unfortunate for him. He has got a DRS failure. That might stunt his progression throughout the next few laps, as well, as long as Callum McKeon can stick in Division's DRS, he won't have any trouble defending from Liam, as Clock is now almost within DRS range of Top Gooner. It's going to be a matter of time now before Clock is looking to make a move to take the lead of this Grand Prix. I'm going to say start of lap 25 on that straight, he'll be looking to make the move. So that gives him only a couple of laps, sorry, to pull away if, like you say, he has got a penalty and Top Gooner doesn't, Jam.
Yeah, I think I noticed earlier that he did, but to be honest, I'm not entirely sure.
As Bean has also retired, and that's a VSC. Oh, that's not gonna really help Clock too much.
I hope his tyres.
I don't know. It's a VSC with only a few laps left, so it's not really going to be that drastic in terms of helping anyone out in terms of strategy. Just one more thing to point out is EOR Hamilton is within or nearly within Ranger's DRS, so it looks like EOR Hamilton could be moving up into the final podium position in these last few laps here. He's also driven a pretty good race, despite not setting a lap in Q3. He made it through on the medium compound tyres. He's done the alternate strategy along with Clock and Iceman, Liam and Division, and he is in a P4 looking to get a P3.
Yeah, he's had a pretty tidy race as well. I think
as we're
we're
underway
last week.
Some of these are definitely sped under the safety car. Top Gooner, I think one of them. He's used that little exploit because he's gained about a second on Clock there under the VSC, so that's not ideal for Clock.
If I was Clock, I would be absolutely fuming about that, because he's stuck to the technical laws and he's lost time from it. But hopefully, for his sake, that'll fuel the fire and that'll get him that extra push that he needs to try and take
Hamilton,
this win.
sorry Jam, sorry to interrupt, but Hamilton is right on the back now of Ranger, looking to get up into P3. He's got the DRS assistance. There's yellow flags on the exit of Scary. That's Silly Bunny. He's round again. Hamilton up the inside. Ranger trying to hold it around the outside, but Hamilton goes in deep himself. A little bit aggressive there, but I mean, Hamilton, was fairly entitled there to sort of just squeeze Ranger out. I mean, it's not exactly the nicest thing to do, but I mean, obviously with only a few laps to go, Ranger will want to be fighting for that position. But I mean, he's on mediums, Hamilton's on the softs. It's not really the position that you'd be fighting for. I think. I mean, it's a podium position. You'd want to be.
Division past Darnell, sorry.
Yep, Division past Darnell. Whilst I was rambling, trying to think of something to say, Liam is not quite close enough to Callum McKeon to get in his DRS. I don't know whether that's been fixed for him yet or not. Clock is nearly back within Top Gooner's DRS. OMH still holding his own in 5th, so he's looking like he could get a pretty decent result here. Predators has lost a bit of time somewhere. I think that might have been actually early with his collision with Drastic Blaze, but Iceman Liam is now back within Callum McKeon's DRS, and Clock is almost within Top Gooner, so it's going to be a last lap battle here between the top two to see who's going to take the top step of the podium. A few other battles going on. Darnell has been passed by Division.
We've been so caught up in this battle for the lead that we've just completely forgotten about driver of the day. I think for me it would probably have to be either Clock, Ranga, or
I'll help
Division.
you out. There's your positions gained. I'd be inclined to give it to Division at the moment. I mean, it's been obviously Ranga's had a stellar drive, but to come up from last on the grid to get a respectable P6, you can't be discrediting him for that.
I think
nor can you discredit Ranga, because Ranga's also driven a very solid race.
I think Pens are going to come into play as well, but also to his credit, OMH has had a stellar race. Only have 1 point in SLR before this. He's currently in 5th. He's going to get 10 times as many as he previously had so far.
Sorry, Jam, I'm going to have to interrupt because we're going to see a move for the lead here. Clock's got 40% of his battery remaining, unlike Top Gooner, who's got about 15. So Clock's got all the battery that he really could want on this final lap. He's going to make this look relatively easy here. So Clock will take the lead of the Italian Grand Prix on the last lap. Top Gooner not really got anything in reply. So Clock now really just looking to sort of expend all of that battery, drive as fast as he can to try and pull away from Top Gooner. I mean, like you've been saying, if he has got a penalty, unlike Top Gooner, it probably won't be enough for him to get out, pull out a 3-second gap, as Beast Assassin set the fastest lap. So Beast is going to get, he's going to save face a little bit with P10 and the fastest lap. So a couple of points could be worse.
We've currently got,
especially with hitting twice.
We've currently got 3 votes for Clock and 2 for Division, but obviously penalties might sway some people's votes, because obviously I should think that this order that you are seeing here currently will not be the final order.
Yeah, Gooner's made quite a bit of a mistake there for Ascari, so he's not going to be able to retaliate on track. Clock has extended the gap now to over a second. Unfortunately, if Clock does have a penalty, it's really going to be one of those where he just needed a couple more laps here. But it is going to be Clock to take the checkered flag. Is it going to stay as him in the lead? Yes, it is. So Clock didn't have a penalty. Clock wins the Italian Grand Prix. Second, Top Gooner. Third is Hamilton on track, but Ranga takes it back. So Ranga gets the P3. OMH is going to cross the line, P5. Solid drive from him in the Ferrari. I'm sure the Ferrari fans will be happy with that. Division takes P5 off OMH. So OMH had a whole host of penalties. Division P5, OMH 6. Iceman Liam takes P7 on penalties. So a solid 6-7 there for Ferrari. Callum McKeon 8. Predators gets back up into P9. Darnell ends 10th. Beast Assassin had so many penalties. He's dropped down, unfortunately, to P12. Blaze came 11th in the end. Mavic 13th. Loki crossed the line 14th. Monkey 15th just behind him. And then we've got iCallum and Entrusted. They're battling it out for P16 and 17. So this is a battle to not come last on track here. And it looks like iCallum might just about have it. So an absolutely thrilling Italian Grand Prix there. And it seemed Sotia Clock, take the win with a superb alternate strategy drive there. He's really perfected it, executed it perfectly there. And it's really solid drive from Clock.
And yeah, your driver of the day, I believe, at the moment he's got 4 votes, is your race winner Clock. But we're getting a couple in for Ranga or Division from Midzi. But I think it looks like it's gonna be Clock.
Could you get the top 3 in the party, please?
I certainly can. Clock for me just absolutely nailed that strategy. He made that mistake earlier on, but that didn't stop him. His pace was very good today. Unfortunate for Darnell and Beast though. They were quick early on, but obviously that first lap collision.
Yeah. So there you have it then. Your winner for the SLR F1 Division 2 Italian Grand Prix is Sotia Clock. from third on the grid. Second is Top Gooner. He was fourth on the grid, made a really good start, but unfortunately the alternate strategy was the one, and it paid off 4 o'clock. Third was Ranga. He finished fourth on track, but had one less penalty than EOR Hamilton, who also did the alternate strategy, and it did work pretty well for him, it has to be said. Fifth is Division from 20th on the grid, so an absolutely stellar drive from him. He didn't have a penalty as well, so that's my bad. Sixth, OMH, he picks up 8 points there, so solid drive from him, good quality as well. So good weekend all round for the Ferrari boys, with Liam home in seventh. Callum McKeon coming home in 8th, Predators 9th, and then Jade Arnell, who came into contact with Beast Assassin on the first lap, he rounds out the points paying positions. I believe we've got first and third in the party. Just waiting to see if Top Gooner will be joining us. But yeah, I've got to say, there we go. I've got to say, boys, congratulations, especially to you, Clocked, for taking the win, but also to Ranga for an absolutely stellar drive there from 15th on the grid. Really cracking race all around, and you boys got a lot of stream time there because you were in the thick of the action. I'll let Jam conduct the podium interviews.
We'll start with Ranga then. I was watching you on board for about the first 3 laps, and I think you went from 15th to 5th in the space of about 7 or 8 corners. It was brilliant. I think those fresh tyres helped a bit, and obviously keeping out of the mayhem that always seems to occur at the start of any Italian Grand Prix. Your pace looked very good, to be honest. I was rooting for you at one point because you hadn't had the best of luck the last few weeks, but picking up another very strong result, and I'm sure you'll be happy with that podium. If you just want to talk us through how your race went from a personal perspective.
Yeah, it was better than I could ever imagined. I'm not going to lie, it was fantastic. Qualifying was an absolute disaster, as it always tends to be for me, especially this season. So I wasn't really surprised, to be honest. I went out there and I thought, you kind of know you're, in a bit of a rut, bit of bad form when you go out there expecting to bin it, or you're like, well, what corner am I going to crash on this weekend? So I just wasn't really surprised that I crashed, and I wasn't really disappointed either. And I just was like looking forward to the race, to be honest, just seeing what I could do. And I think just, having no expectations and just being a bit more chilled kind of really helped me. I mean, a lot of things in front also helped, like Beast and Darnell coming together, and a couple of people in front of me at turn 2 getting a bit of wing damage that allowed me to pass them around the outside, and then as well as Crispy having a load of connection issues. But you make your luck, I think, really, and I kept out of danger, kept all my damage, so I didn't get any damage, and only got 1 penalty. So I think really it was better than I could ever imagined, really.
Yeah, it was a great drive. 15th to 3rd, something to be proud of, definitely. Just special mention to Top Gooner finishing 2nd. He was pretty high up on the grid, to be fair, but kept it out of trouble, and he was in the lead for a majority of that race. But unfortunately for him, Clock on his soft tyres at the end, just superior pace, which brings us on nicely to our race winner and driver of the day, and I believe new championship leader, Satya Clock. Interesting decision to start on the medium tyres, but you made it work to absolute perfection. You were flying at the end of that race, even despite a little mistake that we earlier that dropped you back a few positions. I'm sure you'll be ecstatic with that result. So I'll hand it over to you, Clock, and you can tell everyone how your race was.
Yeah, start was very good. Tried to follow Gunnar, but he was just a bit quicker than me at the start. Obviously, with him on softs, me on mediums. But when Ranga passed me, I thought that this is brilliant. I can sit behind him in the DRS and just go along with it and be superior on the softs later. Then I did that mistake, which I thought was going to ruin everything, but instead I ended up behind one of the Renaults, and then I caught up to Ohm, so I got some DRS slipstream anyway, and then I managed to extend my mediums to the perfect window for the softs, and the softs never went away from me, and I caught up to Ranga, and that was a very scary overtake. Maybe I should have waited for the start finish race, but I didn't have time to be patient if I wanted to catch Gunnar. Was a bit too close going up the inside in the little kink there on the back straight, but he gave me the space, which I'm very thankful for.
I didn't
got
give him the
through and
space
then-
on the start line. Though. I didn't want to. I wanted to fight him for as much as I could and think, I try and hold on to P2. Then I realised that's stupid and just thought maybe I'd be able to stick with him, but I wouldn't. And then hoped that him and Gunnar would have some sort of incident, but they didn't.
Yeah, then I caught up to 1.5 to Gunnar, and then the VSC came out, and I lost a second to him in the VSC, so I did that really badly. But I had my software just in a way better state than his medium, so I was able to catch up again. And when I got close, I knew that I was gonna pass it on with the DRS. So I'm very very happy, and I mean obviously it's very lucky that Beast Assassin and Darnell had that incident on lap 1. Obviously putting Beast Assassin out of the points, which did me huge favors in the championships, but there's a lot of races to go, so just gotta keep pushing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations to both of you, and obviously Top Gooner as well, who despite not being able to join us on in the interviews, he had a really good race himself. Just also like to say very well done to Division, who despite having a quali ban, he fought his way back to 5th place in this race. I'm not entirely sure who got driver of the day, as the large portion
It was
of the votes
Clock,
have been
mate.
shared out between you two and Division. So there we go, we've got Clock as well, driver of the day. So congratulations to yourself for that as well. I'd
Thank
just
you.
like to say a huge thank you to everyone who's been watching tonight. We had at least 30 viewers for the large majority of this race, so that's always nice to see. And I believe that is pretty much all for tonight. So we'll catch you guys